freedom for all human beings.
In America and Canada, we see the same treatment in action upon us human beings, those who live on these lands. We are designated subjects and servants. Our fundamental rights and freedoms have been removed from us, and in turn, we have been given certain rights through privileges and benefits of the state. In America, when you look at the U.S. Constitution, Amendment number 9, you find the following statement. It says, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others. Others what? Other rights and freedoms that are available outside the Constitution. So you see this operation of law clearly expressed within the Constitution of America. There are certain rights enumerated in the Constitution, but there are others available. Now when you look to Canada, the Constitution Act 1982, Article 26, states the guarantee in this charter of certain rights and freedoms shall not be construed as denying the existence of any other rights and freedoms that exist in Canada. We clearly see the same operation of law in America and in Canada, that these Constitution Acts, they only list or describe certain rights and freedoms, but there are other rights and freedoms available for those who are present in Canada and America. These constitutions of America and Canada, they only grant certain rights and freedoms. These documents are only telling you half the story. There are other rights and freedoms available to you and I. These fundamental rights and freedoms are not expressed fully or are not contained in these constitutions that are in operation within Canada and America. Both America and Canada clearly express that the rights and freedoms contained in their constitutions are an expression of limited rights and freedoms. Not all of your or my rights and freedoms. They are certain, specified, limited, and particular rights that are granted to their citizens. However, in Canada, the Constitution Act actually applies for the human being, which those who have followed my videos will be aware of. But nevertheless, these Constitution Acts, they only enumerate or grant certain limited rights.
7th edition. Limit. A restriction or restraint. A boundary or defining line. The extent of power, right, or authority. Limitation. The act of limiting, the state of being limited. A restriction. Black Laws, 2nd edition. Bondage, slavery, involuntary personal servitude, captivity. Black Laws, 1st edition. Bondage, slavery, involuntary personal servitude, captivity. Black Laws, 7th edition. Bound, a limitation or restriction on action. So, a limitation or restriction on your actions that you can take. A Canadian citizen is a person who bears true allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen. So you are a subject, you are under obligation to serve Her Majesty the Queen and her heirs and successors. Now you are also, as a Canadian citizen, under subjection to fulfill the duties as her subject. You have to fulfill those duties. So, the government, her heirs and successors, the Queen herself, have made certain laws and regulations, and they say that you, as her subject, are under obligation to fulfill those duties to those laws.
The Constitution of America, Amendment number 14. It states that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So, a person who is born or naturalized in the United States and is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States is considered a citizen. When you look into legal dictionaries and legal terminology, you will find that the word person can either mean a human being, a man or a woman, or an entity, such as a corporation, that is recognized by law as having the rights and duties of a human being. So there are two different designations, there are two different operations of law that attach to the word person. Now, how you find out, or how do you know which person is being referred to? Are they trying to refer to the human being when they use the word person, or are they trying to refer to a legal entity, a created entity by law, the juridical personality? How you know is by looking at the attributes, looking at the characteristics of the person, of that subject that is being brought forth. A human being has its full rights and freedoms, fundamental rights and freedoms. An entity, an artificial entity, only has certain rights and freedoms that are attached to it or that are given to it. So there is how you distinguish or how you find out what subject is being brought forth through the attributes, through the characteristics. Remember that an artificial person is an entity such as a corporation. It does not say only a corporation. Now, the distinguishing factors or attributes is that this artificial person is created by law, and it is given certain legal rights and duties of a human being. This artificial person is a being that is real or imaginary, who for the purpose of legal reasoning is treated more or less as a human being. So it is very clear, the artificial person has certain limited, particular rights of a human being. It does not have all of the rights and freedoms, the natural rights and freedoms that belong to the human being. And this is how you distinguish what type of person is being brought forth in their laws, by what type of attributes or characteristics it is demonstrating. A citizen is a person who, by either birth or naturalization, is a member of a political community, owing allegiance. Now look at that attribute. Owing allegiance to the community and being entitled to enjoy all its civil rights and protections. So this citizen, whoever it is not free. It is not in liberty. It owes its allegiance, it owes its servitude to the political party. There is a natural right that is recognized that a human being is born free and has the capacity to remain free.
Just like in Article 6, everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person.
You have a right to enter into recognition, to play the part as an artificial person, as that citizen who is in servitude, but there is no obligation. The person here is subjected to jurisdiction. That refers to the citizen, the artificial entity created by law. A human being is free, is born free, and has the capacity to remain free. It's not subject to the jurisdiction of a political power. Only the artificial person is. A human being is born free. However, once that human being completes a certain condition, then that human being is subjected to their jurisdiction. And that man or woman now becomes a citizen, an artificial person. The act that is completed is the registration of the birth of that human being to the state. Then jurisdiction is applied upon that human being through the citizen. As a citizen, you are a subject and servant to the political power. You are not free in liberty. A citizen is a designation in law. It is an artificial entity created by law and given certain rights and freedoms of a human being.
Black Laws, 7th edition. Liberty. Freedom from arbitrary or undue external restraint by a government. A private privilege or immunity enjoyed by prescription or by grant. The absence of a legal duty imposed on a person. Liberty. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Freedoms, Article 4. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 8. No one shall be held in slavery. No one shall be held in servitude.
Freedom for all human beings.
You and I have other rights and freedoms, which are not enumerated or listed in the Constitution. You have just been made witness to one. You do not have to be held in servitude as a citizen, that subject who owes allegiance, either to Her Majesty or to the political power in the United States of America.